Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Adam, Bernas, SPOC, and our CoffeeNow meetings. Let's continue. Please let me know if you can see me and you can hear me, and if we can communicate via chat. Because of course, if you have any questions, suggestions, ideas, we can elaborate. But I need to confirm that we can hear and see each other. Okay, goody. Thank you, Malva. Okay, ServiceNow, a shortcut to digitalization. I've decided to devote this several minutes, let's say so, as digital transformation, digitalization is continuously one of the hottest topics in the industry, right? And it's not only in our industry as such, but my perspective is that we should be looking at how digitalization activities can drive growth, can drive productivity, right? So in general, digitalization, this transformation path, some time ago it was just another business buzzword, but today it's definitely something else. This is like a strategic imperative, right? As you know, machine learning, process automation, and what's the most important since last few months, the Gen AI, right, comes to play, and it already has started to change, let's say, the way organizations are doing business from the ground up, right? When I was preparing yesterday to this meeting, and I was thinking what to say, I just recalled that there were like two important events last few weeks when it comes to ServiceNow ecosystem, right? There was this World Economic Forum in Davos, and there was also an annual event called Sales Kickoff, where at the beginning of each year, ServiceNow sales organization meets, and they are starting a new year. In both of those events, ServiceNow CEO Bill McDermott was of course present, and he and everyone around, they were talking all the time about Gen AI and how that drives productivity, right? How it can support digitalization activities. It's really a great time for ServiceNow platform when you think about combining Gen AI and digitalization, right? Especially that ServiceNow decided, and the platform has several domain dedicated LLMs that already started to support people in day-to-day activities, right? And if you take this and put it into, let's say, idea of building new solutions, new applications, transforming your processes and make them digitalize, it really works, right? I checked, and if you look at this this screen, right, this shows us how ServiceNow stock, how ServiceNow shares situation looks like right now, right? Since this, let's say, Gen AI perspective started to work out, you can see that really the value of the company, the value of the platform is increasing rapidly. And when I was checking and comparing, ServiceNow right now is probably on the top of all IT-related companies when it comes to how this fact of utilizing Gen AI, how this fact of supporting digitalization works together, right? So what is the plan for today? Leveraging the original ServiceNow methodology, I'll try to tell you and explain how we can assess, right, the degree of digitalization within the company, within our departments, within our processes, right? We can use a tool to, so by the tool I mean application directly in ServiceNow, to present, showcase, right, the results of analysis, how we can determine and visualize the level of digitalization that in fact is present in our company, and how we can establish a roadmap, a plan for next steps in our transformation journey, right? So in other words, the topic of the session is a shortcut to digitalization, right? How to adopt it. What I would like to touch upon is, let's leverage our platform to assess the maturity of the processes in terms of how well they are digitalized, and address this, right? Let's provide an answer for it by deploying applications, by building solutions, by implementing more automated processes that we can do directly in the platform, consolidate, right? Utilize the power of the platform. Some time ago, I came across a use case, or maybe a case study, right? This is a publicly available document that you can, of course, refer to, which is called Now on Now. And this is basically a brief, let's say, description of how ServiceNow as a company, right, approach the digitalization perspective. How they created their own methodology to assess the maturity, right? And how they started to implement those results, I mean findings, and how they implemented results based on the assessment within their own company, within their own departments, their own processes, right? So this really is something that you can refer to if you would like to see a real case example of what I'm going to discuss with you in a moment, right? So let's start from the beginning. And I will tell you how the company, how ServiceNow company approached this fact. Because like I already mentioned, there are a lot of methodologies that you can use to conduct this kind of an assessment, right? Many companies have their dedicated one. There are, of course, consulting companies that you can refer to and go throughout this process. But what I liked really about ServiceNow way of doing this was the crucial fact of simplicity, right? So this process, this, let's say, exercise that you need to conduct, and really quite often is a long-term engagement where you need to, meet with a number of people when you need to conduct those assessments with a different group of people that are responsible for it, right? But what I liked about the way ServiceNow did was it was not too heavy, right? And what I mean by this is that they've identified those three main digital transformation imperatives, right? So we have velocity, we have intelligence, and we have experience. By experience, we mean UX, user experiences, right? And velocity is about speed, right? About the pace of actions. Gen AI, again, machine learning, all that vibe for automation that really can and is accelerating business functions, right? Especially Gen AI is a game changer, right? How fast our processes works, how we can optimize them. We need to look at the way we work from the velocity perspective. The next one is intelligence, and it's about the real-time insights that accelerate the decision making, right? So how do we get the data that we can utilize? How we can get the data that we can trust? How those data are being processed? So we need to look from this perspective as well. And third, the last one, but probably the most important, like in many other cases, are user experiences, right? Is this approach to how people fit into this, if it is something that can be adopted, it's crucial to achieve those desired business outcomes, right? People need to use those solutions. People need to have this kind of solution served in the most suitable way. And ServiceNow assumed that we are referring to, let's say, 4 levels of this digital maturity. And like you see on these examples, I will go through it in a second, but again, we have those 4 levels, right? In many places, when you apply or work with ServiceNow solutions, when you implement capabilities, there is this 4 step, let's say, categorization, but it's not like, for example, in CSDM, we are not talking about crawl, walk, run, and fly. This is this categorization which is more, let's say, suited to digital transformation maturity. So we have level 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can think of them as a manual, automated, transformed, and digitized, right? So from the velocity perspective, if you think about any process or the way you are working in your organization, right? If it's a manual, let's say, way of working, your work basically will be unstructured, right? If we think about the level 2, so automated, so there will be processes that are defined, and there could be, or there are, some automated routine tasks that are created. Going further, if we can say that specific processes or services are transformed, right? You will see that processes are really transparent and automated. And from the level number 4, so from, let's say, a level that we can say we are digitalized, this is the place, of course, where we want to get. You can think of an example that machines completely manages a specific process. And getting back to the level 1, but from the intelligence perspective, like I was saying, this reporting and data, business logic, let's say, a focused area. There may be a manual reporting activities. You can have a fragmented data, which is really difficult to embrace, right? Then going further, if we think about an automated approach, there will be, or there are basic KPIs. So we have some sort of information. We can say that this is this real view mirror, so we can understand what happened. We have some reporting, right? If we are at the level number 3, so we can say that this process or service is transformed, you will be equipped with effective KPIs, you will get customer satisfaction surveys, you will be able to understand and react based on this, right? We can say that we have a real-time predictive analytics in place. And of course, the top is a self-learning machine intelligence, Gen AI capabilities that changes everything. And user perspective imperative, right? So experience. You can have a phone call, email, form way of communicating. So you can say it's manual, right? Then some, let's say, online portal capabilities. Like we have a employee service center portal, or the one that was previously available service portal, when you expose a place for your users to interact with you, right? So there is an automated way of dealing with this. Generic mobile capabilities could be utilized. So this is where we are automated. And then the level number 3 refers to transformed way of working, right? Mobile first. The experiences that are tailored to individuals. So there are a lot of capabilities that already are in the platform, for example, that are nicely fitting this level and this structure. And the level number 4, platform proactively executing work based on individual actions, right? So in terms of assessing this maturity, we are taking those imperatives and we are trying to identify at what level, at what stage a specific process, service, activities, right, are placed. And that can really vary from department to department, even from a process to process in a specific department. And there are many, many factors that stand behind this, right? The process maturity, the tool that you are using, the individual, organizational culture, and so on and so forth. But let's put the topic at maybe at the next discussion, the next meeting. And there are 5 levels of those process definitions that you see here, right? And we ultimately need to report against them. So we can aggregate to an enterprise level, right? Or we can identify those assessments or find, work out the findings against a department. And then we have a master service, which, as you can see, is a, let's say, logical group of services in the department, and services and processes. This is what we need to assess to get a meaningful results, right? And as an examples, you can see that as a service, we can think of an IT support that is delivered to employees, or, for example, benefit process, which is delivered by HR for people working in organization. In terms of processes, switchboarding, or a specific beneficiary plan related to people that work internally, right? And then if you combine those, the information provided in last 2 slides, we get to, let's say, to the essence. We have to conduct those assessment topics, right? So, yeah, that was exposed. We made this larger for you to just review what are those individual activities, what are those steps that we need to conduct. And you can see that those blocks are divided into imperatives, plus at the very beginning there is this process basics, where again we need to identify the department, master service, process owner, and spend some time with this person to get the answers, to understand how frequently this particular process or activity is conducted, right? And then we go through those three imperatives, starting from velocity, right? We need to understand the process maturity. So identify the level that best represents the maturity of the process. And within our tool, it can be both Excel file, which of course is not recommended, but we have it, or a dedicated application in the platform, right? When we ask this specific question, we have a 4 scale answer to choose from, right? So it's not like an open questions, but we are just rating based on a predefined answers. What's the process maturity, right? What's the level of effort? How much human effort is needed to perform a specific process? And then we look into how many systems are involved, right? From the intelligence perspective, what about the data availability, right? Do we have a dedicated available data to measure this specific process? How this data is used? Do you trust those data or that data, right? And experiences, so personalization, what is the level of personalization that this process offers to people that work with it? How does the consumer engage? Do we expose a mobile functionality for him as well, or for this particular consumer or customer, right? What's the experience? How they are rating this process? Are we getting this information out of our customers or consumers? And the last one, fulfiller experience, right? So people that work with the process and is delivering the value or is delivering the service, right? How they rate this, how those fulfillers feel about experiences that particular process or service offers. And like I told you, we are choosing from the dedicated scale, and you can see even at the bottom, in the bottom of this slide, that there are those 4 segments, right, which will tell us what is the digital score. And going to the next slide, I've decided to paste this Excel example because we can have everything in one place, right? But you can see that even if we focus on velocity imperatives, right? Identify the level that best represents the maturity of this process. And in this example, when we talk about IT management, master service, when we talk about computer and software service installations, right? We can see that this particular one has a value number 4, so it's measured and controlled. It's 75% of automation in place. And we just need to get that type of answers. And the bottom right side of the screen, you see our scores, you see our calculations. So based on the answers, we have a dedicated velocity score, dedicated intelligence score, and dedicated UX score. And after we combine this, we get a specific result. We have a specific value. And this is the screen that I definitely prefer. But you can see that we have our ServiceNow built for themselves, and of course it's available for the customers as well, entire application that really nicely organizes and provides the information of where are we and how to understand the level of digitalization. And here in this slide, we see that there are dedicated departments, and from a finance perspective, they are dedicated processes, and each of them is already assessed, and we can see what's the level, what's the score, where are we with particular one at this point in time. Right, and of course we can prepare different reporting, so you can see those that kind of information organized in a little bit different, let's say, visualization. When we have departments, when we have our master services, so let's say IT support services, and we have every service listed, and we can see which of those are performing really nice, and you can get the insights and impression of what are the processes, what are the areas where we potentially should focus the most. Right, and then we take those results and we can prepare this kind of an observations, right? So again, a finance department which performs, I would say, medium, right? So the 56 out of 100. And we have a dedicated processes, record to report, right? Financial planning and analysis. And we see what are the tools that this department uses to work with a specific processes. And that can give you an information, okay, maybe there are really some nice long-hanging fruits, or there are really some important areas where we should focus, right? When there is only an Excel, maybe this is a good idea. Or like with this treasury operation processes, there are even no tools that are supporting this, right? So maybe just an email or maybe just an Excel where we have processes that are completely manual, right? We can think of applying changes over there. And looking into a use case, these are I've provided. I'm providing 2 slides from an, let's say, first call overview presentation of ServiceNow. When you have an information and you get the impression of use cases that we can support, and if you recall how ServiceNow was starting with a platform capability and IT management capabilities, and when you will look at how many processes, how many use cases are already supported by the platform, it's really, let's say, important message that many are already there in place. But if you are able to identify a particular use case in your organization, you can build a solution directly in the platform. If we think about improving the process performance, when we think about providing a solution to support specific service that we work with, really the platform is a place to go and build this solution, to consolidate different cases into the platform, right? And that should be a different and will be a different, let's say, a dedicated meeting. But if you think about Gen AI capabilities, right? And if you think about a process that needs or should be improved, when you think about code to text capabilities, you can imagine how drastically the time to market, how drastically the time that is required to prepare a solution is shortened, right? So this is an answer to what to do with the results of our assessment. So this treasury operation, it was already secured by ServiceNow, and they did provide a solution because they needed this, right? So there is already an application in place that is addressing this process. But with every example, we can think about setting a plan, setting a path of how to secure a specific area, starting from a kickoff workshops, cataloging the process, driving the digital assessment maturity that I was describing to you throughout specific processes, providing recommendation, creating our digitalization roadmap, and executing those projects, building those solutions, building those applications. This is, in an essence, the, let's say, as recommended or suggested way of addressing the findings, or just, moving forward with transforming our business. Okay, guys, so this is what I wanted to touch upon today. We will address the questions and we will address the comments throughout the LinkedIn and throughout the other tools that we use to provide those broadcasts. Have a great day all, and see you next time. Thank you.